Hello, my dear students. My name is Abhishek Gupta, and I am working as an associate professor in Hygieia Institute of Pharmaceutical Education and Research, Lucknow. And today we are going to discuss the topic acetate mevalonate pathway. So, coming to the first slide, this is an overview of acetate pathways. So, acetate pathways, whether it is acetate mevalonate pathway or acetate malonate pathway, these both the pathways starts with acetyl coenzyme A, and this acetyl coenzyme A is formed by pyruvate, which is the end product of glycolysis pathway. So this acetyl coenzyme A, when goes into acetate mevalonate pathway, it forms mevalonic acid as an intermediate, and from this mevalonic acid isoprenoids are formed. These isoprenoids then forms terpenes, and through squalene also forms steroids. This acetyl coenzyme A, when goes into acetate malonate pathway, it forms fatty acid, and from fatty acid fats and waxes are formed. So we are going to discuss acetate mevalonate pathway in this presentation. So acetate mevalonate pathway gives rise to different type of isoprenoid compounds such as terpene, terpenoids and steroids. So what are terpenes? So terpenes are a large and diverse class of organic compounds produced by a variety of plants, particularly conifers, and also by some insects. So these terpenoids are modified terpenes as they contain additional functional group, usually oxygen containing, and terpenes are hydrocarbons. So these terpenes and terpenoids are the major constituents of volatile oils, means the volatile oil present in the plants, they contain terpenes and terpenoids. And terpenes are also major biosynthetic building blocks. For example, steroids are the derivatives of the triterpene squalene. These terpene and terpenoids are the primary constituents of the volatile oils and of many types of plants and flowers. For example, vitamin A is also a terpenoid. So terpenes are derived biosynthetically from units of isopentenyl pyrophosphate. Although the structure of terpenoids are rationalized as derivatives of isoprene, that is 2-methyl-1,3-butadiene, isoprene is not involved in the biosynthesis of terpenoids. So the biogenetic isoprene rule, or the C5 rule, which was described in 1953 by Leopold Ruzicka, who explained that terpenoids can be visualized as the result of linking isoprene units head to tail to form chains, which can be arranged to form rings. Means if two isoprene units are present, they will join together head to tail and will form a isoprenoid or a terpenoid. Okay, so terpenes may be classified by the number of isoprene units in the molecule. So it will be known as a hemiterpene if it consists of a single isoprene unit, means C5H8. So isoprene itself is considered the only hemiterpene, but oxygen containing derivatives such as prenol and isovaleric acid are also hemiterpenoids. So if it contains two isoprene units, it will be known as a monoterpene and will have the molecular formula of C10H16, because one isoprene unit have 5 carbons and the molecular formula is C5H8. Then monoterpene, as it contains two isoprene units, will have the molecular formula of C10H16. And the examples of monoterpene and terpenoids include geraniol, terpineol, limonene, myrcene, linalool or pinene. Iridoids are also derived from monoterpenes. Sesquiterpenes The word sesqui means one and a half. So it contains 3 isoprene units. Sesquiterpenes contains 3 isoprene units and have the molecular formula C15H24. And the examples of sesquiterpenes and terpenoids include humulene, farnesene, and farnesol. Diterpenes are composed of 4 isoprene units and have the molecular formula of C20H32. If, for example, one isoprene contains 5 carbon, so C20 means 4 isoprene units. So a diterpene contains 4 isoprene units and they derive from geranyl pyrophosphate. And the examples of diterpenes and diterpenoids are cafestol, caviol, cymbrine, and taxidiene. This taxidiene is also a precursor of Taxol, which is a anti-cancer compound. Diterpene also form the basis of biologically important compounds such as retinol, retinal, and phytol. Triterpene consists of 6 isoprene units and have the molecular formula C30H48. The linear triterpene, that is squalene, is the major constituent of shark liver oil and is derived from the reductive coupling of two molecules of farnesyl pyrophosphate. So farnesyl pyrophosphate is a 15 carbon compound, and when two molecules of farnesyl pyrophosphate are reductively coupled, it gives 30 carbon compound triterpene. So squalene is then processed biosynthetically to generate either lanesterol or cycloartinol, the structural precursors to all the steroids, and cholesterol is also derived from this lanesterol and squalene. The squalene gives rise to lanesterol, and from lanesterol, after certain chemical reactions, cholesterol is formed. Tetraterpenes contains 8 isoprene units and have the molecular formula C40H64. And the examples are lycopene, the monocyclic gamma carotene, and the bicyclic alpha and beta carotene. So this lycopene is found in tomatoes, and these beta carotenes are found in carrots. Polyterpenes consist of long chain of many isoprene units. Means when a number of isoprene units are attached together, it will form polyterpenes. And natural rubber consists of polyisoprene. Means natural rubber is nothing but polyterpene. Coming to the general overview of acetate mevalonate pathway. So this acetate mevalonate pathway is also known as mevalonic acid pathway or isoprenoid pathway. So this mevalonic acid or acetate mevalonate pathway forms IPP and DMAPP. This IPP and DMAPP are the active isoprene units, and these are the precursors which forms isoprenoids, and these isoprenoids forms terpenoids and steroids. So this isoprene unit contribute in the biosynthesis of many other metabolites. Means other than this terpenoid and steroid, isoprene also forms anthraquinone, naphthoquinone, terpenoids, glycosides, and alkaloids in association with other pathways, and they occur in eukaryotes, some bacteria, plants, and animals. So here you can see the structure of an isoprene unit. I will zoom it a little bit, and here you can see that this is CH2 double bond C CH3 CH double bond CH2. So this is a isoprene unit and it contains 5 carbon atoms. This is 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, and 2 double bonds are present in an isoprene unit. So this part is the head part and this part is the tail part, as you can see here, head and tail. So this is a isoprene unit, and when many isoprene units combined together, if two isoprene units combined together, three combined together, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, or it contains a number of isoprene units, it forms different type of terpenes and terpenoid compounds. So monoterpenoids contain two isoprene units. So for example, menthol and geraniol are monoterpenoids. So as you can see here in the structure of menthol, this is along the dotted line, you can see this is 1 and this is 2. So this is one isoprene unit and this is another isoprene unit, and as it contains an alcoholic functional group, it will be suffix as all. So this is a structure of menthol. Menthol is found in Mentha piperata or peppermint. So this is the structure of geraniol. Here you can see this is one isoprene unit and this is the second isoprene unit, and geraniol is the major constituent of rose oil. This is a structure for sesquiterpenoids. Here you can see it contains three isoprene units. This is one isoprene unit, this is the second isoprene unit, and this is the third isoprene unit along the dotted line you can see, and it contains the functional group of a ketone. So this is the structure of termirone, which is found in turmeric oil. So this is the example of diterpenoid phytol. So a diterpenoid contains four isoprene units. You can see here this is the one isoprene unit along the dotted line, this is the second, this is the third, and this is the fourth. So coming to the acetate mevalonate pathway per se, the pathway begins with acetyl coenzyme A. Acetyl coenzyme A gives rise to acetoacetyl coenzyme A. This acetoacetyl coenzyme A then gets converted into HMG coenzyme A. This HMG coenzyme A then gets reduced into mevalonic acid, and this mevalonic acid gives rise to isopentenyl pyrophosphate or IPP. This IPP is then isomerized into DMAPP. Then after being isomerized into DMAPP, this IPP and DMAPP gets combined together, they condense together and forms geranyl pyrophosphate. So here you can see this IPP is a 5 carbon compound and this DMAPP is also a 5 carbon compound. When these two 5 carbon compounds are combined together, it forms a 10 carbon compound, that is geranyl pyrophosphate. So this geranyl pyrophosphate contains two isoprene units and therefore it gives rise to monoterpenes, and the examples are menthol, limonene, geraniol, linalool, alpha-pinene and citral. This geranyl pyrophosphate, which is a 10 carbon compound, when it combines with one more unit of isopentenyl pyrophosphate, it becomes a 15 carbon compound and known as farnesyl pyrophosphate. This farnesyl pyrophosphate contains 3 isoprene units and it gives rise to different sesquiterpenes, and the examples are santalene, which is found in sandalwood oil, termirone, which is found in turmeric, zingiberine, which is found in ginger, and abscisic acid, which is a plant hormone. So this farnesyl pyrophosphate, which is a 15 carbon compound, when it gets combined with one more unit of IPP, it forms geranyl pyrophosphate, which is a 20 carbon compound. This geranyl pyrophosphate contains 4 isoprene units, and geranyl pyrophosphate gives rise to different type of diterpenes such as Taxol. This geranyl pyrophosphate, when it combines with one more unit of IPP and one more after many additions of IPP, this geranyl pyrophosphate gives rise to polyterpenes such as rubber. This geranyl pyrophosphate, when combines with one more unit of geranyl pyrophosphate, means 2 units of geranyl pyrophosphate gives rise to 40 carbon compound, that is tetraterpenes, and the examples are carotenoids such as lycopene and beta carotene. This geranyl pyrophosphate also gives rise to gibberellins and phytol. Coming back to farnesyl pyrophosphate when combines with one more unit of farnesyl pyrophosphate, it gives rise to a 30 carbon compound which forms squalene, and this squalene then further gives rise to triterpenes and steroids, such as the examples of steroids are stigmasterol, diazenin and solanine. So this is a overall view of acetate mevalonate pathway. In the next slide, we will discuss this acetate mevalonate pathway in detail. So coming to a detailed overview of acetate mevalonate pathway, as you can see in the top left hand corner, this is one molecule of acetyl coenzyme A, that is CS3COSCOA. This acetyl coenzyme A, when combines with one more molecule of acetyl coenzyme A, this functional group, that is SCOA, gets released and attachment occurs at this carbon CS3CO. So this CS3CO part will get attached to this CS3CO SCOA part, and with the removal of this SCOA, it will form acetoacetyl coenzyme A, that is CS3CO of this acetyl coenzyme A, CS3CO, CH2CO, SCOA. So two molecules of acetyl coenzyme A will form acetoacetyl coenzyme A. In the second step, one more molecule of acetyl coenzyme A will get attached to this acetoacetyl coenzyme A, and in the presence of enzyme HMG-CoA synthase, it will form HMG coenzyme A, that is beta hydroxy beta methyl gluteryl coenzyme A, or 3-hydroxy-3-methyl gluteryl coenzyme A. This HMG-CoA, upon reduction in the presence of enzyme HMG-CoA reductase and NADPH, this HMG-CoA will reduce into mevalonate. The hydrogen ions will be supplied by this NADPH, and HMG-CoA will reduce into mevalonate, and this coenzyme A part will get released and OH group will get attached. So it will form mevalonate or mevalonic acid. This mevalonate will get phosphorylation at the fifth carbon, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. At the fifth carbon, it will get phosphorylation reaction will occur, and the phosphate group will be given by ATP, which itself will convert into ADP, and the phosphate group will get attached at fifth carbon, and mevalonate will get converted into 5-phosphomevalonate. This 5-phosphomevalonate will again go into second phosphorylation reaction, and one more phosphate group will attach at this fifth carbon, and it will form 5-pyrophosphomevalonate. This 5-pyrophosphomevalonate then undergoes decarboxylation and dehydration reaction in the presence of the enzyme decarboxylase, and this 5-pyrophosphomevalonate will form isopentenyl pyrophosphate. So this is the active isoprene unit, as we have discussed in the earlier slide. This isopentenyl pyrophosphate or IPP will then get isomerized in the presence of the enzyme IPP isomerase, and it will turn into dimethylallyl pyrophosphate or DMAPP. What happens here is that the isomerase enzyme will shift the double bond from here to here, and when this double bond will shift from this to this, the IPP will convert into DMAPP or dimethylallyl pyrophosphate. When these two compounds IPP and DMAPP will combine together, it will form geranyl pyrophosphate. So this IPP and DMAPP are 5,5 carbon compound. So when these two 5 carbon compounds will combine together, it will form a 10 carbon compound, that is geranyl pyrophosphate. So geranyl pyrophosphate will give rise to different type of monoterpenes because it contains 2 isoprene unit. So these monoterpenes can be straight chained, can be monocyclic or bicyclic, and the examples of monoterpenes we have discussed in the previous slide. So this geranyl pyrophosphate, when it will combine with one more unit of this isopentenyl pyrophosphate here, it will form farnesyl pyrophosphate. So geranyl pyrophosphate with one more unit of IPP will convert into farnesyl pyrophosphate. So this geranyl pyrophosphate was a 10 carbon compound. This isopentenyl pyrophosphate is a 5 carbon compound. When these two will join together, it will form a 15 carbon compound, farnesyl pyrophosphate. This farnesyl pyrophosphate will then give rise to different type of sesquiterpenes. And this farnesyl pyrophosphate, when it will combine with one more molecule of IPP, it will form geranyl pyrophosphate. And from this geranyl pyrophosphate, different type of diterpenes are formed, and gibberellins are formed, phytols are formed. And when this farnesyl pyrophosphate will combine with one more molecule of farnesyl pyrophosphate, means two farnesyl pyrophosphate molecules will combine together to form squalene. This squalene is a 30 carbon compound, and from this squalene triterpenes and steroids are formed. So this is a overview of acetate mevalonate pathway. So the acetate pathway or acetate mevalonate pathway is also known as HMG-CoA pathway or isoprenoid pathway, and it is also known as mevalonic acid pathway, and it is an essential metabolic pathway which is found in eukaryotes, archaea and some bacteria. The sole carbon feedstock of this pathway is acetyl coenzyme A. This acetate mevalonate pathway begins with acetyl coenzyme A, which is a active form of acetate and which comes from glycolysis pathway when pyruvate converts into acetyl coenzyme A, as we have discussed in the first slide. The first step of this pathway condenses two molecules of acetyl coenzyme A to form acetoacetyl coenzyme A. When one more molecule of acetyl coenzyme A condenses with acetyl coenzyme A, it forms HMG-CoA. Means the two molecules of acetyl coenzyme A will combine together and it will form acetoacetyl coenzyme A, and when one more molecule of acetyl coenzyme A will get combined into this acetoacetyl coenzyme A, it will form HMG-CoA or 3-hydroxy-3-methyl glutaryl coenzyme A. So the reduction of this HMG-CoA will then yield mevalonate or mevalonic acid. So these first three enzymatic step means formation of acetyl coenzyme A, then formation of HMG-CoA, then formation of mevalonate. These first three steps are known as upper mevalonate pathway. And the lower mevalonate pathway consists of formation of IPP and DMAPP. In eukaryotes, mevalonate is phosphorylated twice at 5 carbon position and then decarboxylated to yield IPP, as you can see in this slide. This is mevalonate and it is phosphorylated twice at the 5th carbon to form IPP and DMAPP. Okay, so this is known as lower mevalonate pathway. You can go back to the slide. So this is acetyl coenzyme A, two molecules, they form acetoacetyl coenzyme A, and from acetoacetyl coenzyme A, one more molecule of acetyl coenzyme A combines to form HMG-CoA, and from this HMG-CoA reduction it forms mevalonate. So up till mevalonate, these three steps are known as upper mevalonate pathway, and formation of 5-phosphomevalonate from mevalonate, and from 5-phosphomevalonate formation of 5-pyrophosphomevalonate, and 5-pyrophosphomevalonate when give rise to IPP and DMAPP. This is known as lower mevalonate pathway. Here. So coming to the different steps of acetate mevalonate pathway. So two molecules of acetyl coenzyme A combines with each other to form acetoacetyl coenzyme A by the enzyme acetyl coenzyme A thiolase. Acetyl coenzyme A combines with one more molecule of acetyl coenzyme A to form 3-hydroxy-3-methyl glutaryl coenzyme A, in short known as HMG-CoA, with the help of enzyme HMG-CoA synthase, because here synthesis of HMG-CoA is taking place. So in various competitive examinations and university exams, one can ask that how many molecules of acetyl coenzyme A are utilized in acetate mevalonate pathway. So the answer of that question is 3 molecules. As you can see, the 2 molecules of acetyl coenzyme A are combined to form acetoacetyl coenzyme A, and one more molecule of acetyl coenzyme A is combined to this acetoacetyl coenzyme A to form HMG-CoA. So total 3 molecules of acetyl coenzyme A are utilized. So when this HMG-CoA is formed, it undergoes reduction to form mevalonate with the help of enzyme HMG-CoA reductase and NADPH as a cofactor. So this mevalonate undergoes phosphorylation at 5th carbon in presence of enzyme mevalonic acid 5-phosphase and in the presence of ATP to form 5-phosphomevalonate. This 5-phosphomevalonate again undergo phosphorylation at 5th carbon to form 5-pyrophosphomevalonate in the presence of ATP. As you can see here in this reaction, this mevalonate undergoes phosphorylation at the 5th carbon to 5-phosphomevalonate, and it again undergoes phosphorylation at the 5th position to form 5-pyrophosphomevalonate. And when this 5-pyrophosphomevalonate gets decarboxylated, it forms this IPP here. Okay. So this 5-pyrophosphomevalonate is then converted into 2 important precursors, that is isopentenyl pyrophosphate, that is IPP, and dimethylallyl pyrophosphate, that is DMAPP, with the help of enzyme 5-pyrophosphate decarboxylase, because decarboxylation reaction is taking place. So this isopentenyl pyrophosphate undergoes isomerization to form DMAPP by the enzyme IPP isomerase. So this IPP and DMAPP undergoes condensation to form geranyl pyrophosphate, and geranyl pyrophosphate is further converted to farnesyl pyrophosphate by the addition of one more molecule of IPP and release of phosphate group. This IPP is then added to FPP, that is farnesyl pyrophosphate, to form geranyl pyrophosphate, and from this geranyl pyrophosphate diterpenes are formed, and from this geranyl pyrophosphate monoterpenes are formed, and from this farnesyl pyrophosphate sesquiterpenes are formed. And when in this farnesyl pyrophosphate one more molecule of IPP is attached, it forms geranyl pyrophosphate, which gives rise to diterpenes. And when FPP is added to one more molecule of FPP, that is farnesyl pyrophosphate, it forms triterpenes and squalene, and from squalene different type of steroids are formed. So this is the overall acetate mevalonate pathway. Thank you so much.